Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Tuesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and today's report includes: is this the right quarterback to come to Pittsburgh? Ben Roethlisberger continues his criticism of the Steelers organization. Could the Pittsburgh Penguins move this top player at the trade deadline? And more. As always, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the first news story of the day. Is this the right quarterback to come to Pittsburgh? Hooray! As if the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation hasn't had your head spinning enough already, a new option hits the market. Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold, Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, and more have been linked to the Steelers, and now NFL on Prime insider Albert Breer has thrown Los Angeles Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford's name into the conversation. The Rams recently gave Stafford and his agent permission to seek a trade partner, as the 37-year-old is looking for a pay raise from $40 million to $50 million. In 2024, Stafford played in all 16 of the Rams games, going 10-6 with a 65.8 completion percentage, just under 38,000 passing yards, and 20 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Breer added that the Steelers, pretty much with any and all quarterbacks living and breathing right now, have shown interest, along with the Las Vegas Raiders, Cleveland Browns, and New York Giants. Honestly, this is most likely just a ploy by Stafford to get more money, as there is no reported ill will between him and Rams head coach Sean McVay. If he were to go to any of those 4 teams mentioned, it would probably be the Raiders. I believe Stafford likes living out west and wouldn't want to go through a big move, so what difference will it make moving an hour and a half east to Vegas? On the Steelers' end of this report, it would make 0 sense to add Stafford. You'd most likely be giving the Rams a first-round draft pick and paying a 37-year-old $50 million to be in an offense with a worse scheme, line, and weapons. If we reach that point, just bring back Russ. He would at least be cheaper and more mobile, and that decision would do less damage to the franchise. I can't wait for this nightmare of guessing who the Steelers quarterback will be over. Just please let it be Fields. Ben Roethlisberger continues his criticisms of the Steelers organization. Without a doubt, Steelers fans' frustrations have boiled over this offseason, with the team now pushing a decade without a playoff win. Joining the fans in calling out those running the organization have been a handful of former Steelers players, with the most vocal being legendary franchise quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. Big Ben has been steady in his criticism of head coach Mike Tomlin and owner Art Rooney II over the team's fall from grace as the gold standard in the NFL. Ben was back at it again on his most recent episode of his Football and podcast, saying this about the fading of the Steelers' way. A team has to know when they're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers that they're going to be hurting, and you know what? We're going to be hurting, but you're going to be hurting worse. You have to evolve. You have to evolve as a team. You can't just assume that everybody wants to come play for the Steelers anymore like they used to. People used to want to come play for Pittsburgh because you had a chance every year to win a Super Bowl. I'd used to joke that we'd be up 3 or 4 points before the game even started, right? Because they're like, man, we're about to get hit in the mouth. I think you've lost a little bit of that. The game evolves, teams evolve, players evolve, but a team has to know when they're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers that they're going to be hurting. I hate to say that Ben is right, but Ben is right. No team fears the Pittsburgh Steelers anymore, and I understand that a big part of it is because all those fear-imposing franchise players from the 2000s and 2010s retired, but the restocking of that cabinet and replacing those guys has gone catastrophically wrong. On top of that, the demise of the Steelers' way falls back on Tomlin. The team that used to be the bully is now getting bullied, and his lack of accountability for himself and the players has made them weak and unable to overcome adversity. What do you think of Big Ben's comments? Do you agree with him? Let me know in the comments below. Could the Pittsburgh Penguins move this top player at the trade deadline? The NHL's trade deadline is now just a week and a half away, meaning rumors and speculations are about to run rampant. One name that will definitely be mentioned in a few of those rumors is Pittsburgh Penguins defenseman Erik Karlsson. Karlsson, coming off a fantastic showing in the Four Nations face-off in the Pens' 2024-25 season, tail-spinning towards the first overall pick, will create the perfect storm of trade talks for EK65, and kicking it all off is Sportsnet NHL insider Elliot Friedman. On his 32 Thoughts podcast, Friedman dropped a theory that Karlsson would be a good fit with the Dallas Stars. The Stars are coached by his old San Jose Sharks head coach Pete DeBoer, and Dallas needs a right-shot defenseman. The Stars are also tight up against the cap ceiling right now, along with a couple of other teams that would be interested in Karlsson, making this unlikely. Again, Friedman stressed that this was simply a theory of his that had no substance whatsoever, meaning that it should go in one ear and out the other. Also, despite the results on the ice, I believe Karlsson enjoys playing with the big three of Crosby, Malkin, and Letang. So, if he were to get traded, it may be difficult to get him to waive his no-movement clause, and it would likely be an off-season trade, so that time may not handicap negotiations. However, and these are my personal thoughts here, I think you can easily kiss goodbye players like Matt Grzelcyk, Anthony Beauvillier, Danton Heinen, and pretty much anyone else on an expiring contract. If general manager Kyle Dubas really wants to go full rebuild, then you can also watch Rickard Rakell, Brian Rust, and Alex Nedeljkovic be mentioned in trade talks too, but those are less likely to happen. Even though the Penguins are tough to watch some nights, the right thing to do is to continue to trim the fat and push towards the #1 overall pick. That push will continue tonight when the Pens take on the hated Philadelphia Flyers at 7 p.m. And finally, NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman could be eyeing the city of Pittsburgh for this event. The NHL's Four Nations Face-Off was a massive success and has left sports fans craving more best-on-best hockey. The good news for us is that every 2 years now, starting next year with the 2026 Winter Olympics, best-on-best international competition will alternate between the Olympics and the World Cup of Hockey. Even better news, especially for us hockey fans in Pittsburgh, is that on 93.7 The Fan yesterday, NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman dropped some exciting news. On the Pony and Muller Evening Show, Bettman, who was talking about the legacy of Mike Lang, Sidney Crosby, the Four Nations Face-Off, and more, said that Pittsburgh could be a host city for the World Cup of Hockey in 2028. Coming off all the buzz that the Four Nations created, hockey could be at a different level of popularity by the time 2028 rolls around. There is also a possibility that 2028 could be the first time we see the return of Russia and other countries to international play. Should all of those scenarios align, Pittsburgh could be the hub of the biggest international hockey tournament of the century, and oh, how sweet it would be. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up a Tuesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report. Again, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow with some more Pittsburgh sports news.